Hey there, it's Vashti Sarah. Welcome back to Post Blog. If this is your first time listening, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like button, follow button, share button, all the buttons to stay connected with the Post Blog podcast. And for those of you who this is not your first time, welcome back. Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Post Blog podcast. Today I have none other than my lovely, wonderful, fine husband joining me for this episode.
Thank you for having me again. I guess I did good last time for you to have me back.
You do good all the times, but all the times, yeah. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the blog that I wrote, I Quit. And honestly, I don't want to do a lot of the talking in this episode. I want my husband to pretty much sum up this blog, but in his own words, and probably share a little bit more insight as to what it means to quit and just go after it, and hopefully motivate and inspire someone to quit being shy and just do it, right?
Quit being shy and quit being fearful. I worked at a company called Fastenal. I was in the sales department, and I greatly enjoyed it. I met a lot of great people. I met lifelong friends. I met some really cool business owners. I met a lot of really, really nice people. So when you're in a place or a season of change, it's not all bad. God had you there for a reason. So you have to remember, when you're focusing on your goal of where you want to be, even though you're not there yet, God might be teaching you something or has something for you currently, and don't miss it. Make sure you're using your life in the right areas and the right job.
And that's true. I think a lot of the times we're in our current job situation, and all we're doing is griping and complaining about where we are, rather than looking at it as a teachable moment where, maybe God has you there to be the light or the salt and light of the world, but also it could be God teaching you different tools that you'll need in the long run. And I know for you, and you can speak on this for yourself, but what you've shared is that a lot of what you experienced and learned at Fastenal has helped you to some degree or another in both Canto Shark and North Texas House Wash, and the connections that you made there has helped with current jobs and opportunities we have. So it's crazy how those little things intertwine with each other, and we don't see the big picture because we're stuck on we don't like our current situation versus seeing it from a teachable point of view, but also being open to the opportunities and not being closed-minded, because you never know what your current situation will help propel you in the long run.
When you're in a season of change, you're going to be ready to move along before you're actually ready, before you have all the tools, before you have your life together, before you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted. But leading up to exiting a day job is extremely scary, especially when you have a responsibility like a wife, kid, family, or bills, just daily, just bills, right? Because with a normal 9-to-5 job, you have a guaranteed paycheck of X amount of money. And when you're leaving that guarantee and taking it upon yourself, although you believe in yourself, there's still that looming doubt in the back of your mind. What if this doesn't happen? But what I learned in this is that whether you stay at Fastenal, you're still going to have doubts and fears in life. And if you leave, you're still going to have doubts and fears. So you might as well go ahead and go for it. Now, I'm not saying just leave your job up and leave.
Have a plan.
And that leads me into what Vashti and I did. We prepped for this moment, not this moment, but when I left in June, we prepped financially, we prepped mentally. We really sat down and looked at our budgeting and our finances. We looked at what my day-to-day was going to look like, and one step at a time, it got closer and closer, and we're like, now is the time to move into my businesses full time.
I remember one day you came home and no, you called me. Something happened. You called me or you came home, and I remember just saying to you, "It's time, honey. It's time. 100%. It's settled in my heart. It's time. You got to do it." And I think for husbands out there, especially as the providers, you like obviously you have the final say in the home if you're following the traditional, which I believe is the right model for a home. The man is the head, the woman should be the helper. And yes, you both have equal says, but at the end of the day, my husband makes the final say. We pray about it, we talk about it, we hash things out, but my husband makes the final say. But a lot of times as a man, you want to make a decision, but in order for you to comfortably do so, sometimes you need your spouse to give you that extra push, which Jarrod doesn't really need a push to do anything in life. But for my mental, emotional, spiritual, financial security, I think I had to get to that place first where I was like, yes, this is it. Go for it. When he was already mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially there, I wasn't quite there yet, even though he had full authority to make whatever decision because we had already prayed about it. We talked about it, went through our finances. I think he was waiting for me, which I respect and honor greatly because he wasn't just rushing into something and I was threading on water or uncomfortable. It was, we were both ready and it was time, and it wasn't easy, but it was time.
Well, we both had to get there, and we actually got there the same day because I remember coming home and I was ready, you were ready, but like we finally went from the 99% to the 100% on the same day, the same moment. I was like, oh, this is it. I'm turning in my 2 weeks Friday. And I'd love to say I have a really cool quit story. Like I've quit in the past on a different position. But no, I left on great terms. All of my coworkers are awesome. And my boss's boss, Derek, he's an awesome person. And but what I did experience as soon as I made the decision to quit, obviously you got to tell your family and your closest friends about that's a major life decision, a job change. And so you're going to get doubts, not only your own, but you're going to get them from your loved ones. And you have to be mentally prepared for that when people question you why you left a steady job. Yeah. Maybe your parents didn't grow up with a lot. Maybe they've struggled with money. Maybe they had a ton of money. Maybe they've never held a steady job. And they're going to question you, well, you had what I strive for my whole life. Why would you leave that? And you have to be strong enough, strong-willed enough, and so sure in what you're doing and so passionate and so consistent that you can look past that and also still love them, because it could be your parents, could be your siblings, it could be your spouse. Now, I don't recommend doing that until you have your full spouse's support, making a big move like that. But it doesn't have to be just a job. It could be anything. You will have to push through. And I told Vashti this story of doubt. And when I was playing baseball, I was trying out. I had gotten told no, no, no on my professional tryouts over and over and over. You're not good enough. You don't throw hard enough. You don't do this enough. And on the one where I finally signed with the Air Hogs, I was throwing a bullpen. For those that don't know, that's a practice pitching session. So I was pitching to a catcher. I was throwing. And a guy, an old coach that just really had it out for me, happened to be at the tryout, stood behind the catcher and mouthed, "You're not good enough. You're not going to make it," while I'm trying out for my professional tryout. And you know what? I do have a good story for that. You know why? I made it. I kicked his butt. It felt good. So what I'm saying is you're going to have doubt thrown your way from every direction, and that's not a reason to quit. That's a reason to push harder.
And I think that coincides well with noise too, because that man, that coach, who awful type of attitude to have, especially if you're in a position of authority. Your role is to want the best out of your athletes or the best out of your subordinates or whoever you're leading, you should want the best out of them. And maybe that was his coaching technique to, shove noise in someone's ear, but it's a poor coaching technique. You're probably, more than anything, what you're doing is driving doubt and creating noise for that person who's trying out, or even if it's not baseball related, just if you are in any sort of authority position, do your best to encourage those who are going after something. And even if you're not in an authority position, a lot of the times I feel like even our friends and family can be the noise in our ears and can be the doubt in our ears because, maybe they just think what you're doing is stupid. Maybe they think, you're never going to make it or you're never going to make money or everyone else is doing that. And I talked about that a little bit in the Girl Boss Week. But, we just need to shut out the noise, shut out the doubt, and not compare yourself because it's easy when the noise and the doubts creep in because they're throwing at you, well, so-and-so is doing it better, or so-and-so is doing this, or you're never going to make it, or, that's a stupid idea. We start comparing our lives and we go back to maybe I shouldn't have quit. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. And like Jarrod said, you just got to stick to your guns. Just keep going after it.
Absolutely. And I think that's so powerful for a lot of people. Stick to your guns. And when you do something big, when you do something different, you're going to have the noise. And when I started Canto Shark is one of my businesses or one of our businesses. And it's a primarily trading card business. It's a Pokemon card business. Now, it's a consignment business where what I do is I sell people's high-end vintage Pokemon cards for them, and I take a fee, among other sectors of the business, but that's the primary goal and passion behind Canto Shark. Yeah. But when you move full-time from a steady sales position at a great billion-dollar company, Fastenal, and then you move into your own business, but it's Pokemon cards, some people roll their eyes. Some people talk under their breath. Some people laugh in your face. Some people say it's a joke. Some people are mean-spirited. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Fortunately, I'm different where that honestly doesn't, it just goes in one ear and out the other. But I know for others, they're not as grown and mature in that ability to do that yet. And that's something that you're going to go through when you're doing something different. When you make a big move, is people are going to laugh in your face, literally laugh. I've had people laugh in my face.
Yeah. And, yes, growth and maturity has a lot to do with it, but also maybe that's their way of processing things. Because for me, like I always tell Jarrod all the time, like, how are you not fazed when people diss your business, laugh in your face, criticize it, take it as a joke? Like, how do you not cringe? And I cringe. I guess I need to mature. I don't know.
Well, two reasons, and it goes down to passion. One is that I've had experience with it in baseball, in lifting, in gaming. As funny as that is, experience in people bad-mouthing you. And then two, when someone's bad-mouthing me about Canto Shark, my phone just dinged, I got an order while they were bad-mouthing me. Yeah. So it's kind of a win in my book. They were bad-mouthing me, and I was busy making money while I was talking to them.
That's true. I mean, you have to have passion for what you're doing, and I think passion definitely...
Well, I wanted to butt in and just say, the reason I say that last statement is you got to bring in some comedy with what people are saying and not take it so seriously. Yeah. This is some random person. Let it go.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let it go. Don't get so tied up in what people are saying or... just the snide comments, the rude comments. I mean, that's different for everyone, because if you're a strong, passionate, just very secure person like Jarrod, it's just water on a duck's back. But for someone like me who feed on words, whenever someone criticizes what I'm doing, I immediately curl up in a shell. and I feel like I'm just the world's biggest failure. And especially when they criticize my husband. Like, you can criticize me. Yes, I'll crawl up in a shell, but I eventually get out. But you criticize my husband and what he's doing. I go from 0 to 100. Don't mess with my husband. Don't mess with our business. But I have to step back and I have to realize, you know what? Who gives a crap? And that sounds harsh, but that's just the nature of it. Who literally gives a crap? This is our business. This is something the Lord has placed on our heart, because it's more than just a business. There are opportunities at shows and conventions where we're witnessing and we're sharing the gospel message. We're touching people's lives. We're praying for people, and no one really needs to, like, the critics out there. All they're seeing is what appears to them is a joke, but they don't see the big picture. And my husband always says, people like that have minnow mindsets. And it's because Canto shark, minnows are like the smallest creature in the ocean. But so they have a minnow mindset. They don't really see the big picture. And they're really not doing much with their life anyway. So why should I give so much effort into something, a statement from someone who really isn't making a difference in the world? And their statement, their criticism shows the root of pride in their own life, and pride in the form of insecurities in their own life. So all you can do is extend grace and be like, you know what? Who gives a crap? I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
You sound like a shark. You sound like a shark, because sharks don't have doubts, and they don't make excuses. They don't listen to noise. And number 4, they don't have bad habits. We've cut out so many bad habits over the last 2-ish years. And our businesses, VashtiSarah.com, your brand, your books, your podcast has taken off tremendously because you cut bad habits. Yeah. I got my act together and transformed Canto Shark into a business and launched North Texas House Wash with you by my side in the last couple of years because we cut bad habits. And when you're spending too much time on your phone, when you're spending too much time on Netflix or Hulu, as fun as those are, and when you only have one income in today's world, that's not enough. Yeah. And every day you're getting behind. Whether you're paying your bills on time or not, you're getting behind if you don't have a second income. You have to, all right? And it's not just about the money. It's about the hobby and the experience and the networking of people you meet. But going back to the bad habits, some of the key ones that we cut out was spending too much on our time on our phone, not doing business in the evenings. It's very fun to scroll through Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, whatever you use, YouTube, listen to podcasts. You can make an excuse how that's building you up or making you better if you're listening to podcasts. But at the end of the day, you need to be working for yourself and not be consuming so much content. You should be creating your own content. If you're listening right now, you have something that you can teach somebody else. You have experiences that will really affect someone else's mindset today, right now. They could be going through something and you could help them, speaking into them. You created something for them. You stopped by for them. Yeah. Number 2 is saying yes to everyone. You don't need to be going to every event. We stopped going to all of the events that we're invited to, not because we didn't like the people or we cared about one group of people over the other, but we really narrowed down. Vashti, Jarrod, all right, we can't do 8 or 9 different birthday parties every month. I love all of you, but I can't do it. Yeah. I can't. So we're going to just limit. We'll send you a gift. We'll hang out sometime. But limiting your social hours has done tremendous things for our business, to where we're getting to a point where, all right, now we can start going back into the world again and not being recluses. And then again, watching too much television, and then feeding our minds with unnecessary and meaningless content. Again, scrolling through Instagram, watching pointless videos on Facebook, it consumes so much time and takes away so much of our life force to be able that we would be putting into our own business, our hobbies, even our families.
And it's not easy. We're not saying that this was easy to cut out, because it's hard to shut down and take your phone off and not be scrolling, because it's easy to wind down by scrolling on your phone, or it's easy to, stay up late and sleep in. It's easy to do stuff like that. It's easy to miss the gym. It's easy to be consuming things you're not supposed to be consuming. It's easy to give in to the pressure, the social pressure of saying yes to everyone. And it was especially hard for me because I'm a yes girl and I love peopling, but the more I've learned to say no, first of all, you get out of drama. You're just not a part of the drama. You don't want to be a part of drama. You have your head so low grinding that you are building your brand, building your company, while the others out there are feeding on drama, and it's just toxic. It's a toxic environment. They're miserable all the time. You don't need that. But additionally, it was hard saying yes because I wanted to have friendships. I wanted to cultivate, that type of culture. But saying no has helped me to really narrow down who are my genuine friends, who are actually there, who can I trust. And we've had to filter our friendship to some degree with those who, our circles. We've had to filter that quite a bit, honestly, because we've realized certain friendships really don't edify us at all. It's all gossip. There's nothing that we gain from that relationship. And I know that might sound harsh, especially, but you guys are Christians. You should use every opportunity to share the gospel. Absolutely. But if you're in a friend group where they have absolutely no openness to wanting to talk about anything other than the latest gossip, then you're really not going to change their mind. You're really not going to change the culture or change the conversation, because they're dead set on what they want to talk about. But enough about that. You really do have to be very strategic with your habits, very strategic with the friends that you cultivate, the people that you surround yourself with. Because if you surround yourself with people that are toxic, you're going to be toxic. If you surround yourself with people that are time wasters, you're going to waste time too. But if you surround yourself with people who are grinding, who are going after it, you will be more likely tempted to go after it too. And so be it if it's the missing out, the FOMO mentality. If the FOMO mentality gets you to get up, get off your butt and do something, I'm here for it.
Spend time with people that are better than you are in the areas that you want to grow in.
That's good.
When I was playing baseball, I was throwing between 80 and 85 miles an hour, which is very slow for a college athlete. And to even get any looks, you have to be throwing around the low 90s, but 90 to 92, and that'll get you some looks for professional baseball. Right. And I worked my tail off year after year, and I eventually got up to 85 to 87, but I was grinding every day to get that. And I was just like, God, what am I doing wrong? What am I missing? You know what I was missing, Vashti? I was missing surrounding myself with people better than me. Nothing against people who I was training with, but I was training with people that threw 80. I needed to throw and train with people that threw 90. I played in a summer league, and I made friends with this guy named Connor Camacho, and at the time, he was throwing 91 to 93, and I was like, hey, man, why don't I train with you this summer? Let me pick your brain. Let me just work out with you. And after that summer, I was in the low 90s pitching, and it only took a couple months. If you surround yourself with the right people after 6 months, you're going to be a completely different person. I went from a completely non-existent college pitcher to someone that actually mattered within months, just by putting the right people in my life, spending time with them, talking with them, training with them.
It's like the saying, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are, or show you who you are, or something like that. And I know a lot of people don't like that saying, because essentially the first thing we think of is, well, I guess I can't be a witness to people out there because I should only surround myself with, Christians. That's out of what we're talking about. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. And I love that Jarrod said, surround yourself with people who are better than you. So if you are just starting out your business, surround yourself with people who are 5-10 years in it, because they will have tremendous wisdom on do's and don'ts, how they've failed, how they've succeeded.
And just their presence will literally pull you up. It's an invisible thing, but it'll make you better just having a glass of water with them.
Yeah.
It sounds dorky, but it's so true.
No, it's true. And, we have specific friends who, this is related to business, but specific friends who are in the business field and they're 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years ahead of us.
2 years.
2 years ahead of us?
2 years.
Really?
No, they're 20 years ahead of us.
Oh,
we're going
to catch up in 2 years. But, they're crazy ahead of us, and they've encouraged us. They've checked up on us. Hey, how's North Texas House Rush going? Hey, how's Canto Shark going? And, we don't see them often, but in the behind the scenes, we know they're praying for us, and they check up on us exactly when we need that checkup, that boost, that, hey, don't quit. Hey, keep going. But yeah, find people who are light years ahead of you, people who you aspire to be, and ask them flat out, can you be my mentor? Can you mentor me through this? And aside from business, that is also your walk with Christ. That is, just your daily living. If you surround yourself with people who are just like you, you are never going to grow. Your mindset will remain constant forever. But if you surround yourself with people, say your goal is to be more in depth with theology, to become eloquent in theology, but more than just eloquent in verbiage, but also in your heart and mindset. Surround yourself with a theologian or with theologians, or surround yourself with men and women who are biblically sound, and that will challenge you to dive a little bit deeper. In business, same mindset. Find people who are 10, 15, 20 years ahead of you that will challenge you to make more risky moves and to not make moves that are dumb because they've already made them. If you are trying to, whatever it is, surround yourself. Awesome point. Surround yourself with someone that is growing, has grown, and has been there. If you keep justifying friendships because, we've just been friends forever, and there's nothing wrong with keeping your friend group. I'm not saying to just get rid of all your friends and just X them out, start from scratch. No, that's not what I'm saying. But surround yourself. Just be very strategic. It's not being mean. It's not being selfish. It's not being self-righteous or pretending like you're better than anyone else. That's not it at all. It's that growth mindset, that mindset that says, I don't want to remain stuck for the rest of my life. I want to become a better version of my yesterday's me, becoming a better version of you. The only way to do that is to surround yourself with people who are better than you. Otherwise, you won't be motivated to be better.
Now, once you've surrounded yourself with other people that are better than you, as Vashti said, once you've trained yourself to cancel the noise and not give yourself excuses, and to ignore all of your doubts that are getting thrown your way, and once you've laid out your finances, once you've laid out all of the bad habits you're going to cut out, now you can consider jumping away from your job, moving away from it. This isn't a podcast to leave your job. This is just my story of what I went through to get to working for myself and 2 separate businesses. And I heard a really good quote by 2 mentors of Vashti and I's, Morgan and David Hargrove. And he read a book by Roosevelt, I want to say. And one of the most powerful quotes is this: don't be a cold and timid soul who knows neither victory nor defeat. So if you're stuck in life and you're not happy with where you're at, if you're not happy at your job, well, you can either have all your fears, doubts, and be happy at your job, or you could have it in your own job. What's the difference? Yeah. And so I resigned from my job in June, and we built up the businesses to a point that could hold us over, and I took the plunge, and have just continued to scale. And when I quit Fastenal, the next like 2 months, the biggest opportunities have opened because I was putting all of my time into it. When I was working at Fastenal, I was working on Canto Shark and North Texas House Wash while at Fastenal during the day. And then after work, I would do that, go work out, eat dinner, and then go back to working. And once I was able to put all of my time into it, it transformed what I've been doing, what Vashti's been doing, how she's been able to help me. And I say all that to say is quitting comes with its own challenges. You no longer have the security of a consistent paycheck. You get to decide how much you make. You have to find jobs. You have to get customers. You have to deal with the problems. You have to figure it out. You make all the failures. But I heard another quote, and this very successful real estate developer said, "No one knew me during my 46 first deals and failures. They only knew me by my 47th victory." So you're going to fail 46 times or more until you get to your 47th, which is the winner. And then Mark Cuban says, you only got to be right once. So this whole podcast isn't just about business. It's not just about money. It's just not just about quitting your job. It's about personal growth, confidence in yourself, passion in what you're doing, and having fun. Because if you have all those things, passion, fun, and consistency, and you keep doing it, it compounds and it grows and it flourishes. And with Vashti's podcast, she's compounded and expanded to where she has people in how many countries now listening to your podcast? She's able to look at the analytics and there's people all over, and it's just one step at a time. You start with one listener to 5 to 10, and same thing with downloads, and it continues to grow. And you just keep being consistent. Now, we've faced hiccups along the way. We've cried this year. We've gotten major setbacks, injuries, health problems. We've had stuff stolen from us. We've gone into business debt. We've had so many failures. So when you do this, you're going to have failures no matter what. Whether you're at your day job, whether you're in your family, or whether you work for yourself, you're going to have so many failures. But you know what? We've gotten better at every area that we failed in. We learned. We had stuff stolen. Someone else had the same parts on their car stolen. We were able to help that lady. We've had bad habits that we had to change to get to where we're at now. Not that we've made it. We haven't. You never make it. You never have your life figured out. You never do. So for those that need a confidence boost, if you've made it this far in the podcast, if you need a confidence boost and you're like, I'm such and such age, whether you're 15 and you think you need it figured out, 25, 28, 30, 35, 40, 50, you might be like, Jarrod, I'm 60 listening to this podcast and I still don't have it figured out. Well, there you go. You won't ever get it figured out.
But you can enjoy life. You can enjoy a meaningful life by not having all these doubts, noise, bad habits, excuses being the reason or being the why that's holding you back. You're never going to make it in the sense that you're never going to be fully satisfied in life. But I say that caveat, you will never be satisfied. You're never going to make it, but you will if you have Christ on your side. Because even though we've had all the tremendous hiccups this past year, Jarrod shared, we got stuff stolen from our brand new, beautiful truck, work truck, mind you. And that was a huge setback and business loss, business debt. We've had, just major health and just personal issues that went on. You have your normal family issues, health stuff that's going on within your family. There's all these external circumstances that are happening. But as discouraging as all that is, we always were able to point back to Jesus, and sometimes not immediately, but what helped us walk through those things, what helped us not focus on the doubts, the fear, anxiety, the noise, the bad habits, what helped us shift and reset and refocus was pointing back to Jesus, our why. Outside of business, our why in living, our why in marriage, our why in what we're doing, what we're doing. So a lot of the reason why people are not fulfilled, or, even suicide this month is, the suicide awareness month. A lot of people, even at 60, 70 years old, are committing suicide, and you wonder why. They're billionaires. Why would they ever do that? But it's because they're choosing to do life without Jesus. With Jesus, despite the external circumstances being extremely difficult and hard, with Jesus, it's doable because we're not bearing the burdens for ourselves. We're trading that and saying, you know what, Lord, I need joy. You can have this baggage, and God will do what he needs to do in your life. And he will move mountains. Like Jarrod said, the first 2 months after he quit his job, the amount of doors that opened and the amount of doors that shut too was crazy. We got major victories and major lows. But that's just the nature of it. And I don't want the lows to, make you not want to go after it, whatever that thing is. Life's going to be hard. Life's going to be difficult, but it points back. It boils down to it won't be difficult. It won't be hard if you choose to do life with Jesus. Not to say that external things won't happen, but you get to do life with a Savior, with someone who already has your life mapped out, but you're able to walk through things with grace, with mercy, with joy that passes all understanding. Because the next day after our truck got messed up, or the Monday when I went back to work, no one knew. No one knew that we had our truck issues. I went to the ER a couple weeks ago. No one knew, because we have joy that passeth all understanding. We point back to Jesus, and we have to reset and refocus and say, you know what, Lord, I know you have me in your hands. I know you have North Texas House Wash in your hands. I know you have Canto Shark in your hands. I know you have our marriage in your hands, our family in your hands. So hopefully that encourages someone. I know we jumped all over the place, but there's so many nuggets that I hope you're able to take away, and just to go after it. Don't be a cold, timid soul who knows neither victory or defeat. Don't.
I had one more little tip that I wanted to throw in that I learned starting so many things and them going under. And then finally I have two that are at least floating between North Texas House Wash and Canto Shark. And that is, whether you have a hobby or a side business, side hustle, you're selling something, you make a product, you sell it, you have a service that you offer somebody else, and this is after work. All right, so after you do your day job, you go home and you're selling something, even if it's on Facebook, and your goal or your idea is, what if I did this more? Or what if I did this full time? That would be cool. If you have an idea that you want to implement, whatever the business is, please don't invest so much money into starting it up. Don't buy all the branding stuff. Don't buy the business cards yet, unless it's service industry. But my point is, go get some sales. Make sure people want it. And people might not want it for a couple months. I got one order like my first week of Canto Shark. One order. If I would have allowed that to be like, well, only one person wanted it, I guess no one in the world wants it, I'm just going to go ahead and quit, I'm an idiot. All right. So if you want to make something and you're trying to sell it, go make one and sell one. Sell one to a friend. Don't give any discounts. They're not your friend if they ask for a discount.
Amen.
They need to support your business, and they need to pay full price. In fact, they should pay extra if they're your true friend. I'm not kidding. If they're your friend, they will support your business. They will listen to your podcast. They will read your blogs. They will buy your products. They will ask how it's going if they're your friend. If they're not, they ain't your friend. They're not. So start small, get some sales. That's all of business. You don't have to be all salesy. Just educate them on what your product or service is, and the people that want to work with you will come to you. Yeah. And just put yourself out there. Yeah. Make sure people know every discussion, every talk that you get when you're starting something. Make sure they know you do house washes. Maybe they know someone that talked about it. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have a Pokemon card collection that you need to buy out. Mm-hmm. Maybe they need some sleeves, but they can't buy from you. They can't be your customer if they don't know. So make sure you get sales. You focus on just one sale at a time, get sales. Then use that money and extra money to start building your business, get your marketing material, stuff like that. Yeah. Finally, don't do ads on Facebook and Instagram. Don't depend on some algorithm to sell for you. Stop being lazy and go out and talk to people. Talk to your family about it. Talk to your neighbors. Tell everybody about what you do and be annoying. All right? So whatever your dream is, move from it simply being a dream to it becoming a reality. All you need to do is just take that one step. And when you get your first sale, it's going to feel really good. And if you can get one, you can get two. If you can get two, you can get four. It's true. Yeah. I've tried it. That's what sharks do, not minnows. Don't be a minnow. And that one step will turn into many other steps, as I just said. So, guys, trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him. Read that again. Trust in him, and he will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light and your justice as the noonday. That's Psalm 37, 3-6. Guys, read your Bible. Have those good habits. This is one of them. Thank you for having me. This is a really fun topic for me, clearly. We got a lot of content here, and I'm sure that some people will pick different little nuggets, as you say. There's a lot to boil into, and I'm going to have to listen to this 2 or 3 times because there's a lot of stuff that you said that I'm like, actually, I need to write that down. Like, that's good stuff.
You're very sweet. But yes, it's always a pleasure having you. And you're a smart man. I admire you a lot. And couldn't do this year without my husband, that's for sure. Tough year, but a year that I would never, ever trade because, and the year's not even over. For crying out loud, we're just at the end of September. But, crazy year. Like, if you want to know, if you're nosy and you genuinely want to know what we've been through this year, let's go grab coffee and I'll tell you the amount of crap that's been dished at us. But at the same time, I can share so many victories that, like, we've been crazy blessed. And I'm like, you know what, Lord? Just teach me to remember whenever the stuff the icky, muddy stuff happens, teach me to remember your faithfulness because he's been so faithful this year.
Preach. I heard this quote and I told a couple of friends recently, if you take all of your problems and everybody else takes all of their problems in their hands and you all throw it into a burning pile, I promise you will run right back to that burning pile, grab your own problems back, and run. Because when you see other people's problems, you don't want none of that. So
and
count your blessings.
Count your blessings. And we'll end with that. And for those of you who are listening, we have an extra podcast coming out this week on the topic of suicide and depression. So don't forget to tune into that episode. It will launch on Friday, the end of this month, or is it Friday? I don't know. But it will launch the end of this month, and you don't want to miss it. Really good topic, very sensitive topic, but bonus episode this week, so why not? But yeah, thank you guys for joining me, and thank you to my lovely husband, who is always a blessing to be around. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining me on Post Blog. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like button, follow button, share button, all the buttons to stay connected on the Post Blog podcast. Same time, same place next week. I love y'all. But remember, God loves you most.